The sun shines brightly through the window and splashes on my face, forcing me awake. Leanna and Amelia are both already awake, but Zack still has his head down as if he's still asleep. I look outside and squint at the sky. What time is it?
It's already past noon. We slept through the entire morning.
We did. Leanna giggles at my alarm.
Normally that would be a bad thing, but in this case it's okay. We're almost at Bazada.
I nod. Zack gradually wakes up and we all make sure we have all of our things. After another hour or two, the train stops and announces our arrival to Bazada. The sun hangs high in the sky as one by one we step off the train. As soon as I set foot in the city, I'm assaulted by the sound of voices. Makeshift stalls line the sides of the road and alleys as people pack the streets. Traders entice onlookers to view their wares and customers haggle in heated shouting matches. Are we going to have to travel through that? I blanch at the thought of getting trapped amidst the sea of people, like sardines in a can.
We have arrived in Basada.
This is where we'll find Embermyst?
No, as I said, it is the closest city to Embermyst.
Considering the bustle of this place, I find it a little hard to believe that the hidden city is so close. No wonder Leanna seems so surprised. Amelia seems to read my thoughts.
Of course, close is a relative term. We must first traverse some rough terrain and pass through the forest before we find Embermyst.
She points towards the south where I can make out the tips of treetops, and then she glances up at the sky.
Considering only a few hours remain before nightfall, it may be in our best interest to spend the evening here in the city and depart in the morning.
Leanna nods.
Good thinking. This marketplace is so huge. People say you can literally buy your heart's desires here.
Is there something here you're thinking of buying?
Nothing in particular, but I would like to check out the stalls. Traders from all over the world gather here to sell their wares. Hi!
I glance down at my feet and watch the Pongo wiggle excitedly. He casts hungry looks into the crowd. Is there a lot of magic here? I haven't seen this guy so excited since he first tried to eat me. Amelia bends down and scrutinizes him. She pokes him with a finger and the Pongo giggles.
Hi, boy!
I'm going to the inn. I'll meet up with you later.
Before any of us can react, Zack slips into the crowd. Should we go after him? Amelia doesn't even blink at Zack's departure. She's too preoccupied with the Pongo. Leanna shakes her head.
No, but since Zack left, I'm going to go too. Should we meet back up at the inn?
Sure. She nods and heads into the crowd. Since everyone else seems to know what they want to do, what do I want to do? So I'm gonna go down the list if possible. We'll start with Leanna and go from there. I head in the same direction I think Leanna's gone and duck into the crowd, trying not to bump into too many people as I explore the marketplace. I've never seen a place this crowded before. It doesn't feel like I'm walking so much as being pushed by everyone. Despite all the people, I'm fascinated by the market stalls. Merchants sell all different types of merchandise, ranging from clay pottery to magic amulets. As I'm being pulled through the crowd, I see a glimpse of blonde hair and white armor. That must be Leanna. I wade through the crowd and see Leanna frozen in place. Hey, Leanna. She blinks at me.
Hey!
How's the marketplace so far?
Really interesting. There's a lot of cool stuff I haven't seen before.
She seems distracted.
Do you smell that?
I breathe in deeply. Smells fruity and sweet. An overwhelmingly sweet smell wafts by on the breeze. There's really no way I couldn't.
I think it's coming from that stall over there. Come on!
She darts back into the crowd and I quickly follow until we stop at a stall filled with delicate glass bottles. Is this perfume?
Yes, welcome, welcome.
A tanned man in silken robes ushers us closer to the stall. He selects a glass bottle filled with a pale pink liquid and offers it to Leanna.
A noble scent to match such a noble woman.
Leanna blushes and delicately sniffs the bottle. Her eyes widen in recognition.
Is that extract of spirit orchid?
The man grins broadly, and clasps his hands together.
Yes, yes, very rare, from the far celestial mountains.
I never expected to find this perfume here.
What is it? Leanna offers me the bottle and I take a tentative whiff. It smells fruity, like a cross between an apple and a pear. This is a flower? She nods.
The spirit orchid. It only grows in the deep forest of the celestial mountain range.
Why is it called the spirit orchid?
The roots are a very pale white, And when it grows, it almost looks like it's floating midair, like a spirit.
That's kinda neat. She nods absentmindedly and continues to hold the bottle. Do you want to get it? Leanna quickly shakes her head.
Oh, sorry. It just reminds me of home. My grandmother used to wear this perfume whenever she left the house. When I was little, that meant taking me down to the market.
She smiles fondly at the memory, but her eyes hold a hint of sadness.
I loved wandering the shops and stalls. It didn't matter if I had nothing to buy. It was a chance to leave the house and be like everyone else.
Sounds like you didn't go out much.
It was complicated.
She doesn't offer up any more information and returns the bottle to a blank spot on the shelf. Although she's been very helpful in helping me understand this world, Leanna doesn't talk about her past much. I glance at her again. She looks pensively at the bottle, a small crease in her brow. Suddenly a new scent cuts through the floral fumes. It smells of cinnamon and spice. Cookies! Hey, Leanna, do you smell that? She jolts out of her thoughts and blinks.
Smell what?
I think it's coming from the stall over here. I grin, and just as she did before, I dart back into the street.
Hey, wait!
We weave through the people before stopping in front of a stall filled with an assortment of baked goods. I breathe in the heavenly sweetness of sugar and sigh contentedly. Leanna closes her eyes and inhales.
It smells so delicious!
I browse the array of cookies and tiny cakes. Leanna gasps.
They have cinnamon parfaits. I love those.
What are those?
They're cinnamon and vanilla custard layers with apricots. What do you think looks good?
So you know what? We'll try the parfait. Actually, that cinnamon parfait you mentioned sounds really good.
They are. And they're not super sweet either, which is why I like them.
I fish in my pocket for my winnings from yesterday. Today's treats are on me. Leanna looks amused.
Are you sure you want to use your life savings?
I chuckle. Don't worry, you've been very generous towards me ever since Meadow Hill. This is the least I can do to repay you. I know it's not much, but please consider this as a token of my appreciation. Leanna smiles bashfully.
Thank you.
I grin, then pay for a cinnamon parfait for Leanna and a dessert for myself. Cheers. I fill my dessert and take a bite. As the sweetness melts on my tongue, I let out a contented sigh. This is even better than I imagined. Leanna giggles and lets out an equally happy sigh as she bites into her cinnamon parfait.
This is why I love markets.
I nod in agreement as we return to the street. One of the guards in the marketplace notices Leanna's Mage Guild emblem and pulls over to her to talk.
Sorry, I need to take this.
Since this looks like official business, I better leave them be. We can catch up later then. She smiles.
Okay.
So let's check on Amelia. I decide to seek out Amelia. I stand by awkwardly while Amelia mutters to herself. She seems to be in the middle of something and doesn't notice my presence.
Male, adolescent, of a cerulean variant.
She holds out her bracelet. The Pongo blinks at it, then looks back at her. Amelia cocks her head to the side as she observes him. With Amelia's attention still on him, the Pongo scoots closer to the bracelet and looks at her again.
Go on.
He cautiously sniffs at the bracelet, then sticks a tongue out to lick the air. Afterwards, he grins widely at Amelia.
Interesting. Normally, a cerulean Pongo would leave out even the slightest trace of magical residue.
Amelia doesn't have a chance to finish as the Pongo springs into her arms. She fumbles the catch and pulls the Pongo close to her chest to stabilize him.
What do you think you're...
Her voice trails off. She looks down at the still smiling Pongo. Amelia blinks as the caution melts away from her face. The corners of her mouth curl up into a smile and she squeezes the Pongo in a cuddle. The Pongo wheezes as he's squished against her chest. Join in. Is there room for one more? I step in close and try to wrap my arms around them, but Amelia interrupts me.
No.
Ah. No.
As can be witnessed, my arms are incapable of holding both you and the Pongo.
Ditch the Pongo. You could just... Okay, I think you'd actually say that. You could just hold me instead. She gives me a confused look.
But it is not you of which I am interested.
I sigh and look away sadly. It never is. She clears her throat.
Regardless, I am going to the apothecary.
Apothecary? Can't we just heal with magic?
Yes, there are mages who specialize in healing magic, but they use earth magic which neither Leanna nor I possess. As such, We will need to purchase healing items to treat a wound.
Makes sense to me. Would you like me to go with you?
No, it will be faster if I go alone.
Before I even have a chance to react, she turns on her heel and walks away. As she goes, the Pongo pops his face over her shoulder and gazes longingly at me.
Boy, boy.
A single tear rolls down his cheek. Pongo! I reach out for him as the distance between us grows. Wait a minute, why is he making that face? He could literally leave at any time and just come back to me. Come back! He turns around and disappears from my view. That sneaky little Pongo. Let's go check on Zack. Zack went straight to the inn in Illumia too. What's going on at all these inns? I'd like to know too. I rush into the street and look for any sign of the inn. Luckily I manage to spot Zack in the crowd before he disappears back into the sea of people. Shoving my way down the street, I finally locate the inn just in time to see Zack. He stands in front of a large notice board filled with pinned papers. As I get closer, I can make out some of the flyers, which include a portrait of a scowling face and a large monetary number. Is Zack checking out wanted posters? Maybe he's looking for a specific bounty. I'm about to call out to him when a young blonde wearing a skin-tight suit of armor flounces over to him. Twirling a lock of hair between her fingers, she seems to study the board. Every so often, she shoots pointed glances over to Zack, hoping to catch his eyes, but his attention never wavers from the board. Finally, she speaks.
Do you have a bounty on your heart?
For the first time since her arrival, Zack looks at her. She grins devilishly.
Because I'm looking to collect.
He refocuses on the board and she frowns. For her second attempt, she bumps up her ample chest and touches his arm as she speaks in a sickly sweet voice.
So, are you a bounty hunter?
Zack shrugs her arm off of him.
No.
Then you must be a mercenary.
He doesn't answer. She seems to take that as a sign of encouragement, and her sultry smile returns. She leans in close to him and runs her fingers up his arm.
I've got a mission that I could use some help with. Are you for hire?
Again, Zack brushes her hands off of him and steps away from her.
No.
She seems a little taken aback, but quickly recovers and slides closer to him.
Are you sure there isn't something I could offer to change your mind?
No.
She sighs before plastering that same smile and lets out a small laugh.
Geez, you're kind of dense. I was hoping to spend some intimate time with you. So, what do you say?
No thanks. But if I'm ever in need of your services, then I'll go find you at the brothel.
The woman's eyes grow wide like saucers. With a sharp huff, she tries to slap Zack, who sidesteps out of the way. She lets out another huff before storming off. So we're gonna watch her leave. I hustle out of her way as she stomps towards the exit. Whoa, she did not look happy. Well, that was weird. I go stand beside Zack. What was that all about? He shrugs.
Who cares?
I take a look at the wanted posters on the board. Most of those faces look like generic, weathered, and scarred bandits, I imagine. Is this what you had to take care of in Illumia? Zack fixes his expressionless eyes on me. When we first reached Illumia, the first thing you did was find the inn. Then when we came here, you did the exact same thing. He relaxes slightly and nods.
Just staying up to date on the news.
Sounds like the life of a mercenary is pretty interesting.
Something like that.
Excuse me. Are you a mercenary?
As one, Zack and I turn to face another scantily dressed woman. This one has fire red hair and a mischievous glint in her eye. Zack narrows his eyes.
Yes?
Are you sure you're not a rogue? Because you've just stolen my heart.
Zack sighs and facepalms. I have a bad feeling about this. Zack ends up shaking her off and searches for the innkeeper to buy a drink. I'm ready for a little bit of me time. I head into the crowds and appreciate all the marketplace has to offer. After exploring the city, I meet up with the rest of the group back at the inn. Tensions are high as we eat in silence. I think everyone is a mixture of weariness and anxiety for the next leg of journey. Even the Pongo is strangely silent and obedient. Once we finish eating, we head upstairs to find our rooms. Upon finding her room, Leanna suddenly perks up.
Oh, Amelia, you and I will be sharing a room tonight.
Amelia speaks dismissively.
Naturally. That would be more appropriate than the alternative.
Them and the Pongo. She pauses, then looks at Leanna with interest.
Are you insinuating that you would rather share a bedroom with them?
Amelia points to Zack and me.
What? No, of course not.
Oh, my mistake. Of course you could not have met both of them. There aren't nearly enough beds. You must have meant him.
Amelia points to me. Leanna's face turns pink and she shakes her head.
Amelia! That's not true!
If that is false, then why is your face red?
The point is, I'd obviously rather share a room with you.
Amelia blinks.
If that is the case, then why even bring it up?
Because I'm excited. It'll be nice to have some girl time.
Amelia studies Leanna, then nods.
I concur. Sharing a room has proven to strengthen bonds amidst peers and foster camaraderie.
You mean, make friends?
Precisely.
Leanna grins and Amelia smiles back.
Oi?
We all glance down at the Pongo by our feet. Is it my imagination, or is he trying to ask us which room is he going to sleep in tonight? Amelia snatches him up in her arms.
The Pongo needs to spend the night with us tonight. We need him for science.
As Amelia slips into their bedroom, Leanna nods rapidly,
Yes, for science.
then follows Amelia into the room and slams the door shut. There's a moment of silence as Zack and I stare at the closed door.
Is it just me, or did that seem unusually suspicious to you?
If you think that's bad, you should have seen last week. Is the Pongo really that special? For some reason, I feel like we missed out by not securing the Pongo. Zack shakes his head.
More like we dodged a blast.
No kidding. Don't you mean bullet?
Bullet?
I guess idioms don't translate well here. Never mind. Still baffled by what happens, Zack and I enter our room and get ready for bed. Although the train was more comfortable than I expected, it cannot compare to a real bed. As I snuggle into the blankets, I soon drift into a restful slumber. Zack and I awaken at dawn and silently go about preparing for the day. As I grab a few items off my bed, I look over at Zack, who's fiddling with his gun. That guy sure gives his discharger a lot of attention. Morning. He glances up and nods.
I'm heading down. Meet me there when you're ready.
Sure. Zack shoulders his pack and leaves. This is probably the quietest morning I've had so far. It's a little strange. I pack up the last of my things and follow Zack downstairs, where I find him waiting alone. Where are Leanna and Amelia? He shrugs.
Still getting ready, I guess.
Okay. That's unusual. Leanna is generally the first one up. We wait a couple more minutes before the girls finally show up carrying the Pongo with them. Amelia smiles widely at the Pongo, who grins back. Those two seem to be in a good mood. Leanna, on the other hand, looks exhausted. There's a missing preposition there. Gang's all here, let's go. Think I did that in the other playthrough. Good morning. Leanna smiles.
Morning.
The Pongo wobbles in Amelia's arms as she nods her greeting.
We should move on so we don't lose any daylight.
Zack looks over at Amelia, who rummages through her bag. Eventually she pulls out a map. I glance at the carefully detailed mountains and rivers. Suddenly, I'm missing my GPS.
We will proceed eastward, through the forest adjacent to Bazada. From there, we will travel northbound towards the Sonoa Mountains.
Her finger scrolls across the different locations.
Assuming there are no divergences in the course, we should arrive in Embermyst by midday. Any inquiries?
Amelia folds the map and glances at the rest of us. We all look at each other.
And let us begin our journey.
She leads the way out of the inn and through the streets of Bazada. Even this early in the morning, the marketplace is still bustling with people. Carefully traversing the streets and alleys, the crowd begins to thin as we reach the city borders. Amelia consults her map, then continues out of the city. Without the high cover of the stalls, I blink at the clear blue sky. In the distance, I can see the dark leafy cover of trees. That must be where we're going. Once we reach the forest, I'm surprised by how much shade the leaves provide. The branches are strong and the leaves are thick, exposing pockets of sunshine. Amelia keeps the map on hand as there are no trails. Aside from a few other stragglers exploring the woods, I can hear the scurry of woodland animals. With so much cover and so few people, this would be the perfect opportunity for a bandit ambush. I look towards Zack and Leanna, who both seem unconcerned. I suppose it wouldn't make sense for bandits to hide out in a forest which is mostly devoid of people. We aren't carrying any cargo either, so there's even less of a reason to attack us. The deeper we travel into the woods, the thicker the canopy of leaves become, nearly blocking out all sunlight. All the other people have long gone. Even the rustle of bushes have become quiet.
Oi.
The Pongo nestles even deeper into Amelia's arms. Leanna shivers and wraps her arms around herself in a hug. Let's check on her. You okay? She seems startled and drops her arms, trying to act normal.
I'm fine.
I know exactly what "I'm fine" means in Earth English. Where I come from, when a girl uses those two words together, it means she is not fine. Leanna blinks and lets out a small laugh.
It's nothing really. It's just that the woods are getting darker and darker, and there's a lot more shadows.
Are you afraid of the dark? Leanna shakes her head.
Nothing like that. But really, you don't have to be concerned. It's nothing.
I'm still not convinced, but I'll trust her. Okay. The forest continues to block out even more light. Soon to become so dark, we can barely see what's in front of us.
Are you sure we're going the right way?
Amelia pulls out a torch from her bag in response. She touches her fingers to the tip of the torch and her bracelet glows. Then the torch erupts into flames.
Indeed, there is no need for alarm. The darkness merely indicates we're about to enter the Forest of Sorrows.
So notice the canopy is gone? So where is the light going exactly?
Forest of Sorrows?
I'm surprised by Leanna's outburst. Her face is deathly pale.
Do we have to go through here? There must be an alternate route.
Amelia shakes her head.
Embermyst can only be accessed through these woods.
Leanna groans.
I had a feeling you'd say that.
So this is what was bothering her. What's up with the Forest of Sorrows? I mean, it sounds spooky enough, but is it really that bad?
It is rumored that those who venture into the Forest of Sorrows never come out.
They never come out? She nods.
The reason people are unable to escape is because they hear the voices of the loved ones they have lost. They fruitlessly search for their loved ones, losing their way, chasing the wailing of the spectrals.
No! Amelia, stop! We can travel through this stupid place if we have to, but no more of this story stuff that isn't true and can't be true, so it's not true.
Although Leanna tries to put on a brave front, her voice grows shriller the longer she talks. Right. Amelia nods.
Then let us continue.
I turn to Zack. Do you think all that stuff about the Forest of Sorrows is possible?
It doesn't matter if I think it's possible, because it's the truth.
Zack! Stop!
As Leanna turns away, Zack cracks a fleeting smile before resuming his stony stare. The trees have lost all their cozy feel completely and look thick, old, and withered. The eerie silence is deafening, and each crunch of leaves beneath their feet reminds me of the inevitability of death and decay. I keep seeing flashes of beady eyes peering amid the branches. The squawk of crows pierces the silence, making me jump. Instinctively, I pick up the pace, as does everyone else. Leanna grows increasingly agitated.
Are you sure we're going the right way? I swear that I've seen that.
A cool gust of wind extinguishes the torch. Leanna latches onto my arm and pulls it close to her chest. Her eyes are squeezed shut and she buries her face against me. The light returns as Amelia relights the torch. Leanna peeps an eye open and glances down at my arm. And where it rests on her chest. Her cheeks burn as hot as the torch, and she quickly drops my arm.
Sorry,
She trails off as her blush deepens. I bet her nerves from the forest and the awkwardness of grabbing me is making her flustered. She might be more comfortable holding on to me, but that's an equally awkward suggestion. I close the distance between us and link arms with her again. Although surprised, she doesn't stop me. Instead, she blushes again. Amelia watches us and cocks her head to the side.
Are you afraid?
Huh?
You're mimicking Leanna's instinctive reach for your arm. Does that mean you too are feeling afraid?
It's okay and normal to feel uneasy at times. There's nothing wrong with that, especially in a place like this. Amelia nods.
Your rationale is valid.
Leanna squeezes my arm a little tighter and smiles.
Thanks.
I nod with a warm smile. Anytime. Zack waits impatiently a few paces ahead of us.
Can we move on?
Affirmative.
We all hurry to catch up with Zack and continue through the forest. No wonder people get lost. This place feels like it's endless. Leanna tightens her grip on my arm whenever there's a noise. A crow flies by and she hides her face in my shoulder. I can feel the warmth rush to my cheeks, and I am grateful for the darkness. This is so out of character for Leanna. I never would have guessed she gets spooked by ghosts. Gradually, the darkness fades away as the trees are illuminated by an ethereal glow. As the blue and green light chases away the shadows, my mood begins to lift. The trees still look ancient, but full of wisdom and secrets instead of bad omens. The Pongo squirms wildly in Amelia's arm. He wriggles free and hops around in glee. As he hops, he opens his mouth wide, but loses his balance and blinks as he falls on his head. After a few more confused seconds, he shakes himself and tries again. There must be a lot of magic in here.
We have made it through the Forest of Sorrows.
Leanna sighs in relief. Welcome to the Forest of Agony.
Finally.
She blushes as she lets go of me.
So Embermyst is close.
A natural concentration of crystal energy would indicate we are on the correct path.
Ah, the crystals must be what the blue and the green glows from.
What do you mean, on the correct path? Haven't you traveled here before?
Amelia shakes her head.
No, this is my first journey.
You mean you had us travel through the Forest of Sorrows without knowing for sure that it would lead us to Embermyst?
That is correct.
Leanna gapes at Amelia.
Well, we did make it through. And if we do reach Embermyst, then she would have delivered on her promise.
Zack nods at Amelia, who looks curiously at him. While deep in thought, it looks like she's reworking a previous analysis of him. And she steps back, or she nods back. Leanna opens her mouth to argue, but stops.
I suppose it doesn't matter now that we're almost there.
On that conclusion, let us continue.
We trail behind Amelia, the Pongo blissfully hopping along as she navigates us out the rest of the forest. Embermyst lies just beyond the edge of the forest, and soon we approach the heavy gates of the city. Two tanned men with leather armor and curved wooden staves inlaid with rough crystals stand guard. Their staves are crossed, and the light seems to shimmer as it catches the negative space between the staves. Is that some kind of magic?
Please state your business.
As students from the Mage Academy, we seek an audience with Elder Isim.
They look us over, and I shift uncomfortably under their gaze. Their blank eyes seem to burrow deep into my soul. They close their eyes, and the red crystals inlaid in their staves glow. The translucent glimmers increase. After a few minutes, they open their eyes and remain silent. I glance at Leanna, who looks back at me. I whisper, "Are they going to let us in?" She shakes her head uncertainly. Zack crosses his arms, but otherwise doesn't seem to be bothered by the situation. Amelia stands confidently and waits patiently. I guess things are going according to her plan? Just when I can no longer bear the silence, a figure steps out from behind the gates. He's an old squirrely man with a set of glasses which slip down his hooked nose. He wears a faded and wrinkled open robe.
Elder Isim.
Yes? Who is it?
I am Amelia Stout from the Mage Academy, and these are my associates.
The Mage Academy, you say?
I don't remember if he had a portrait in the early access or not. He adjusts the glasses on his nose and peers at Amelia.
Yes.
One by one, he peers at the rest of us. He barely glances at Zack, but looks at Leanna with interest when he recognizes her guild emblem. Finally, his gaze lingers on me, almost as if he's trying to place me, but can't.
Well, come on in then. No point in standing around.
The guards break away as he beckons us in, and the translucent shimmers disappear. After we pass through the gates, I look back right before the gates close and see the guards resume their original position. Elder Isim shuffles down the dirt path and leads us through the quaint village. The villagers tend to wear plain, loose-fitting tunics. Aside from the guards, most people don't carry weapons, although many of them do wear simple bracelets embedded with crystals. We soon arrive at a strangely architecturally stable clay hut. As we enter, I covertly touch the walls. It reminds me of unglazed ceramic tiles. We settle down on wide cushions on the floor.
How were you able to find this place?
Through you.
Eh?
Amelia pulls out a worn tome. Where has she been keeping this whole time?
My old research. I thought I'd lost this.
As Elder Isom carefully turns the pages of the tome, Leanna clears her throat.
We were told you can help us.
By whom?
Professor Xavier.
Elder Isom lets out a loud laugh.
Xavier is a professor now. Good for him. I've been out of touch with Haven Guard and Lumia for many years. I'm not sure how I can help.
Leanna fills him in on all that's happened so far, beginning with the spiked energy ratings and ending with Professor Xavier's advice. She keeps the story simple and straight to the point, carefully eliminating the fact that I am not from this world. Elder Isom listens thoughtfully, but grows more excited the longer Leanna talks.
The temporal rifts. It's been so long since I really researched them. I'm afraid I've been rather distracted. Still, someone is here hoping to discuss these theories, and I'm more than happy to talk about them.
He claps his hands excitedly.
Where should we start?
As I'm about to answer, a deep rumble beneath the earth stops me. What was that?
Oh, just the volcano. Nothing to worry about.
That's what they said about Pompeii! I trust you. Okay. Elder Isom's demeanor remains relaxed. If something bad were to happen, he wouldn't be acting this way, right? I exchange glances with the rest of my group. Leanna looks perturbed, while Amelia and Zack both stay on alert. At least I'm not the only one who's uneasy.
There's no need to look so concerned. The volcano will not erupt. This is the first sign of activity it has shown in thousands of years.
That's what they said about Pompeii! Isn't that concerning?
Perhaps if it were any other volcano, but this particular volcano is in the domain of the fire elemental who protects us all.
This fire elemental of which you speak, are you referencing the ancients?
Precisely.
Zack crosses his arms.
The ancients are only a story.
Who are the ancients?
They are the elements of Asaria. The magic which we have learned to manipulate are the gifts left behind from the ancients.
That's how the legend goes.
You are mistaken. They are not a legend.
Leanna looks uncertain while Zack scowls.
You still believe in those stories?
I believe in the research, and Elder Isom has accumulated plenty of it.
I thought his name was Isom.
Then where have the elementals been all this time?
We all return our focus to the Elder.
I suppose I do have a few theories on that as well. But the elements are a lot trickier than temporal rifts. The story of the ancients is so old it predates our understanding of crystals and spheres. That's why most societies have forgotten about them and brushed them off as a legend. The people in this village, though, have not forgotten. When I arrived, I was purely focused on finding the fire temple for research purposes. But the longer I stayed, the more my focus strayed from the temporal rifts to the ancients themselves. If you believe that the cause of those random energy spikes are the result of temporal rifts, perhaps that is the link to the return of the elementals to Asaria.
So, what does that mean exactly? He shakes his head.
It's hard to say. We don't know why they left in the first place. My guess is that something was keeping them occupied in the spirit world. Perhaps whatever that is was set free by the rifts.
Amelia hangs on to Elder Isom's every word. Leanna absentmindedly fiddles with her manipulator deep in thought. Only Zack seems skeptical of this conversation. This sounds really complicated, not something that can be solved in a few hours. We need to get back on track. How do I get home? To get back to the original topic on hand, Elder Isom nods.
The temporal rifts, yes.
How would one go about creating a rift?
Well, that'll be difficult. You'll need an incredible amount of energy. More than any one human can create. The only places with that much concentration of energy is in the temples of the elementals.
You said there was one in the village.
Yes, the fire temple is here in Embermyst.
Great. My body grows warm as hope floods through my veins. This is good. I finally have a way home.
To be more precise, it's on the outskirts of the village, built on the side of the volcano, but it's not a far walk.
Then that's where we need to go.
Leanna pushes herself to her feet and the rest of us do the same. As Elder Isom rises, his face falls.
Leaving so soon? I was hoping we'd have a longer chance to chat. I have so many questions about Lumia and the Academy. As you can imagine, one does not get a lot of news of the outside world here.
Perhaps upon our return.
Yes, of course. Well, You best be on your way then.
Elder Isum, it was truly an honor to meet you.
Amelia's cheeks flush as Elder Isam grims. She must really respect him. In that moment, I realized just how small and dainty she looks. Sometimes forget how young she is compared to the rest of us. We all say our goodbyes, and then exit the hut. Once outside, we scan the horizon, trying to orient ourselves towards the volcano. It's that thing.
Excuse me.
I'll roll around, come face to face with a woman wearing just enough fabric to cover her essentials, and nothing more. Her long brown hair is tied up in a ponytail which falls down her neck and frames her very ample chest. Trying to remember what I did last time. Who in the devil are you? Before I have a chance to speak, Zack asks the question on everyone's mind.
Who are you?
Zack steps in front of Amelia, who frowns and steps away. I guess he's taking his bodyguarding business really seriously. Leanna holds herself stiffly, ready to move if necessary. The woman salutes.
Cara Noir, treasure hunter extraordinaire.
Zack narrows his eyes.
What do you want with us?
Well, I couldn't help but overhear that you're interested in the fire temple.
How did you hear us when we were inside?
She taps her nose knowingly.
I have very sensitive hearing.
I fail to understand how our interests are of relevance to you.
I was just getting to that. You see, I've come to offer an extension of friendship.
Both Leanna and Zack raise an eyebrow.
Or at least an extension of mutual benefit.
Okay.
It's true that the villagers maintain the fire temple, but from what I've discovered, they are unaware of the temple's secret passage. If you're interested in the energy of the temple, I can guarantee that's where you'll find it.
If the villagers don't know about the secret passage, how did you find it?
It's all a part of the treasure hunting gig. You have to be looking for it to find it.
Kara winks and gives us a thumbs up.
The best part is that I've already disarmed or made a note of most of the traps in there.
There are traps in this temple?
The temples are a sanctuary for the elementals, but any place that is easily accessible is sure to attract all types. There are measures set in place to protect the spirit from those who wish to harm it.
Like I said, I've disarmed most of the traps, but not all. There is one magical barrier at the end of the tunnel which I've not yet been able to pass. I don't have magic, but you do.
She gestures to Leanna and Amelia.
If you can magic that barrier away, then that's at least one step closer to finding your energy.
Zack crosses his arms and glares at Kara.
How does that benefit you?
She grins.
All I'm interested in are the artifacts and relics. From the sounds of it, you guys are more interested in something else. Hence, mutually beneficial. So, what do you think?
I look at the rest of my group. Wordlessly, we huddle closer together and whisper. Does it really matter? Who cares if she joins or not? She's not interested in the elemental or the energy. If she doesn't go with us, she'll just go after when we've broken the barrier.
You do have a point.
I must concede that I am impressed by her resourcefulness. It is plainly evident that she is not a native to Embermyst, which means she somehow discerned the location on her own.
That's a really good point. Leanna looks thoughtful.
As a treasure hunter, her tracking skills could come in handy in the future.
We all stare at Zack. He shrugs.
Do what you want.
That sounds like a yes to me. Zack doesn't respond. He just fixes his steely gaze on me.
So does this mean we're agreed to join up with Kara?
We all nod.
Hi.
The Pongo sits in the middle of our circle and blinks happily. Where do you even go when you're in hiding?
Boy, boy.
Let's go tell Kara.
We turn around and Kara stands right behind Leanna, her face only inches away. Leanna lets out a startled gasp. Geez, what is she, some kind of ninja? Kara rubs her hands excitedly.
All right! This will be fun!
Wait, we didn't give you our answer yet.
Oh, sorry.
She steps back and gestures for Leanna to continue. Leanna speaks awkwardly. I guess she feels a little silly saying what Kara somehow already knows.
Well, we decided to take you up on your offer.
Kara nods.
Excellent! Since we're going to be working together, first things first. You all know my name, but I don't know yours.
I'm Leanna.
Mage Knight from the guild?
She nods.
I am Amelia Estelle, a mage caster from the Mage Academy.
Kara blinks.
A student to become a mage caster? But you look just like a teenager.
Amelia cocks her head to the side.
It is natural that my physical appearance would represent my age.
She looks at Amelia with respect.
That is pretty impressive. Who's next?
She looks at Zack.
Zack.
She chuckles.
Very clearly a mercenary.
And I'm the man with no name. But you can call me Hero. Her green eyes study me, and although she's very clearly examining me, I don't feel uncomfortable under her stare.
Now that that's out of the way,
Boy, boy.
Kara steps back and views the Pongo by my feet.
you have a Pongo! How cute!
She reaches out and pats him on the head. He beams at her touch.
And what's your name?
Hi.
She glances at the rest of us, but none of us make a move to answer.
Oh, is he not a part of your group?
We thought he was with
Yes. Sort of.
And you haven't named him yet?
you. Leanne and I shuffle uncomfortably. Zack remains unchanged while Amelia frowns.
A Pongo is a wild creature.
Kara straightens and pats Amelia on the head, much to her dismay.
If you say so. Okay, are we ready to get going?
We murmur our assent and then Kara leads us out of the city.